I'm Patty Moreno, the Garden Girl. People ask me all the time, how do I grow herbs and vegetables in a container in small spaces? Well, I've been experimenting with container gardening for years, and I found out that containers tend to dry out quickly, and they also need fertilizer. This year, I'm installing a drip irrigation system throughout my patio with a fertilizer injector. That way, my plants will be in optimum condition, whether I'm here or away. For my drip irrigation system for my container garden, I'm starting, as we start all drip irrigation systems, right at the beginning, at my spigot. And I've got my manifold already connected. I'm starting with the timer, of course. Then I've got my easy flow fertilizer connector. Then I've got my filter. You want to make sure that you have a filter on any of these drip irrigation systems because you never know, there might be some small impurities in the water and you want to catch those before they get into your system. And I'm going to be able to fertilize my garden with some organic fertilizer through the manifold. When you have a container garden, of course, it needs those nutrients. In order for it to grow and for you to have a beautiful container garden, you have to fertilize it pretty often. Before I connect the manifold to my spigot, I am going to connect the hoses for my fertilizer. The black one is on the top side, and that is going to connect to my Easy Flow fertilizer injector. Then I've got my clear tubing here, and I'm using clear tubing so that I can see my fertilizer as it goes into my system. So I've left enough slack to just move it around wherever I want. Now I have to get my 1/2-inch main line and connect it to my Easy Lock fitting here. And then I think I'm just going to take it up right onto my patio container garden. So I've run my mainline tubing up to my brick patio here. Now I'm taking it and I am supporting it all the way around my patio here onto my fence. I'm using these support clamps and I'm just attaching them to the bottom of the fence here. And I'm going to take this mainline tubing all the way around my whole brick patio. That way I can add containers whenever I want, wherever I want. All right, so I've run my main line tube up to this corner, and now I want to cut around this corner cleanly. So, got an Easy Lock elbow here. I'm just going to put it in place where I want it, and then I'm going to measure where I need to cut it with my tubing. And I've got my elbow, and now I've got my other end, pushing it in. All right, I've got my elbow in, and now I can keep running my mainline tubing all the way the length of my brick patio. I've moved my orange mint container so that I can install the irrigation system right behind it. It's going to be nice and hidden. And I am going to install a pot dripper in this one. I've got the Miracle Punch here. Just squeeze. I've got my 1/4-inch tubing here. All right, so I've got my punch insert tool here and my tubing goes right over it and I just squeeze. All right, so you just want to muscle it in there until you hear that pop. And it is in. I'm gonna add a valve in here also. All right, I've got my pruners here. I'm just gonna muscle it in. Got my other piece of tubing that I'm gonna connect there. All right, I've got my pot dripper and it's got a threaded end on it, so all I have to do is twist it. All right, so it is twisted on. Pop it right into the middle. I've got the pot dripper in and now my orange mint is gonna thrive. For my lavender container, I'm gonna use the down spray sprinkler. That way I can control overspray. For my tomato container, I'm using 9-inch soaker drip line. The emitters are spaced out every 9 inches. In this container, I've got tomatoes, and I also have basil and marigold, so the 9-inch spacing is gonna work perfectly. I love this system because it's so versatile. I can even irrigate a hanging plant. I've already run 1/4-inch tubing along this post here from my main drip line. I'm gonna cut it where it's flush with the top of the planter. And I'm gonna attach this pot dripper. It's threaded so I can screw it right on the end of my 1/4 inch tube. All right, it is in. My container garden is irrigated and now I can go on vacation. I'm Patty Moreno, the Garden Girl. Thanks for watching.